So we're gonna go ahead and drop the fuel tank here. I'm gonna show you guys. The stem actually was held on by this little piece here. I already popped this off, and so the stem is loose. Now the actual fuel tank down here at the bottom is held on by a couple of straps. This strap right here and this strap right here. I also already got down underneath the car. I'm gonna show you guys real quick. I couldn't find this on YouTube, so I'm gonna show it to you guys real quick so at least you guys can see. For the 1965 Fairlane, up in here, there was this guy right here, looks like it's a power source to the fuel gauge floater, and that was hooked here. I had to disconnect that, and then here's the actual fuel line. It's held on by a rubber piece. These little brackets right here, I got them loose, but this rubber is so hard, it wouldn't actually come off of the fuel line. So since this is just rubber, I cut it and I'll get a new piece of rubber when I install the new fuel tank, and then it'll have brand new rubber going to this fuel line. So as soon as I drop the actual tank, I'll be able to get under here and probably take like a knife or something in here to cut this off. But pretty easy. The straps come under here and are just hooked to right here, but as soon as I loosen the front, these should come loose and the whole thing should come down. So I actually don't have a deep enough ratchet to reach since these bolts are so long, so I'm really hoping I can get a wrench to work. You know what? I'm gonna clean these studs off real quick with a wire brush and see if I can't get a better grasp onto there. All right, so I cleaned those up a bit. I took a little wire brush. I didn't get it on camera because it was kind of messy, but basically just took a wire brush and cleaned it up. Cleaned all the rust off that. Now I'm gonna take some WD-40, spray it up on there, and then those bolts should hopefully break loose. So I'm gonna spray some WD-40 up into here. Let that seep for a little bit. Pretty sure that will do the trick. And I actually found a deep socket ratchet. I do have a ratchet with a deep socket that will reach up into there and grab those bolts. So I should be okay. I don't need that wrench anymore. So this should do the trick right here. All right, let's see if we can loosen up these bolts. So this side cracked pretty easily. This side, I don't know if you can see it, but this little hook thing is actually bending this metal bracket that's attached to the frame that is holding the bolt in place. So hopefully I can get this to crack here. I'm gonna go ahead and put some more WD-40 on there. Just let that sit for a few minutes and hopefully that'll work. See it seeping through there? Every time I spray, kind of seeps down, but I'm gonna let that sit for a few minutes. All right, I got one side off. Now I gotta work on this side right here. And as you can see, that little bracket right there just bent right down. I put the jack on the actual gas tank to hold it up just in case there's still fuel in there. It doesn't just fall and spill all over the place. But once this comes loose, I'm really hoping that the actual tank is loose enough to drop right out of there, but we will see. The other side was way harder to do. This side is coming off pretty easy. I could probably hand turn this off. Let's see. There we go. Now we can hand turn it. That bracket should come right off there. And that fuel tank seems to be pretty loose in there. So I think I could probably lower this real quick and that should just pull right out. So let's go ahead and lower it just a little tiny bit. A little tiny bit at a time. There we go. That gas tank is coming right out of there. Oh, I can definitely hear that there's still some gas in there. I don't want to spill gas all over the place, but it's falling out pretty good. Let me see what it looks like in here. Oh yeah, it's definitely out. I just need to move it a little bit, adjust it from this side. There we go. Yeah, buddy. The gas tank is officially out. Let's get this jack out of the way here. All right, let's pull this tank out. All right, it is out. Look at that. And it doesn't look too corroded over the top, but I'm guessing and I think water got into it from up here in this area. I think water seeped into here and caused corrosion, which wasn't a good thing. So I'm gonna try and get this open right here and look inside to see if there's any corrosion or anything in there. But new gas tank's on the way. I just wanted to get this dropped down and out of the way before we get that new gas tank. As soon as it comes, we'll get it installed back up in there.
1 week later.
All right, so we're gonna pull out this gas tank here and we're gonna compare it to the other gas tank that we have pulled out in the back. And we're gonna check and see what parts came with here and if anything needs to be done. I don't think this new one came with this filler cap, and I'm probably gonna have to go and get a new rubber piece here, but let's open this up and let's check and see what is inside of this box. All right, let's see. The only thing that's in this box is a tank. That is it. Nothing else is in that box. So we don't even have this cap here. So it looks like I'm gonna have to reuse this same cap, which is not a big deal. It should be okay. I should be able just to clean that up. So I'm gonna take a screwdriver, get this cap off here, get that cleaned up, and then also get that cap off and see how the floater is on the inside to make sure that everything's good with the floater before I transfer it over to the new tank here. Let's loosen these up here. Looks like the rubber tubing is cracked, so that's probably where the leaks got into the fuel tank. Let's see if I can use both hands here. Yeah, so there we go. It just came off right there. And you can see the cracks are all the way through. I don't know if you guys can see the light coming through there, but the cracks are definitely all the way through, and that's how water got into the fuel lines and into the gas tank. So this piece definitely needs to be replaced. But as you can see, everything, I mean, that looks to be about the same exact fuel tank. Let me take this piece off as well and see what that looks like on the inside. Should be able just to pound this out and see if it'll turn. All right, I knocked that loose with the hammer, and then this thing should just come out pretty easy. And then this is the actual sending unit that measures how much fuel is inside of the tank and sends the fuel to the carburetor. And it looks to be a little bit grimy and rusty in there. I might want to order a new one of these. So yeah, this one looks to be pretty rusted out in here. So I'm thinking I'm gonna order a new one of these. I'm gonna do some research online and see how much these are, but they shouldn't be too bad. Definitely this one looks pretty grimy. It actually doesn't even have the cork anymore in this hook that's supposed to be the floater that actually floats up when the gas tank is full to let you know that there's fuel in the tank. So that's gone. It's probably within the tank here. So I'm gonna order a new one of these parts before even moving forward with the gas tank installation. This definitely needs to be replaced, as well as this. So I'm gonna go on, it looks like Amazon, I can get actually these parts pretty easily. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that before we even move any further with installation of this fuel tank. Welcome back. See, you guys, that wasn't that long, a short little intermission, but you know what? It's been a couple of days for me. I've been waiting on a part, and this is it right here. This last little coupler hose for the gas tank. So this goes on here, and then it attaches to the other end of the filler hose, and that's pretty much it. We're good to go. I think we're good to do the installation. While I was waiting for this filler hose, I also did order a new sending unit. As you guys saw in the last couple of clips, this is the new sending unit for the gas tank. It should be a pretty simple little install. This guy just goes right into that little hole right here. It's got to go in this way because this little cap right here, this guy right here has got to float up inside of the gas like so. When you fill up the gas tank, this thing floats up and it lets you know that the gas is full. There we go, easy enough. That is all installed on the inside of there. All right, and then this guy is gonna go right up on here. You can use a few different things as like a lubricant. So I've read Vaseline and petroleum jelly, but I also read the best is just to use some dish soap on there to kind of lube it up. Put on the inside of the tube and set it on there, and then that'll lube it up just fine. So you should just be able to kind of rub it around the inside. So that should be enough to be able to get that to slip on. Just twist it on, and yes indeed, that just twisted on really easy. Like so. So just set it like that, and all I gotta do is get these clamps tightened up, which should be pretty easy. All right, there we go. Easily installed there. Now the gas tank is actually ready to get put back up into the bottom of the rear end. I need to flush the actual fuel lines, and I bought this aerosol injector cleaner. I also looked online, and this is one of the best ways to flush it. So I'm gonna flush it from back to front. I'm gonna try and set the camera up so we can see the flush come through. All right, it looks like you guys can see it there. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the end of this, sticking it into the fuel line, getting a nice tight seal in there, and then bursting it through so it goes through the other side. I'm hoping you guys can see it there, but I'll go ahead and just do it on camera. Get a nice tight fit on there. I don't want it to backfire. All right, I can definitely smell some fuel that came out of there. I'm gonna go ahead and show you what I did. I can see that it squirted out, and I can smell fuel, so it looks like it's cleaning it out. I'm gonna give a few more pumps through there and get it to clean out. All right, so it's time for the gas tank to go back up in underneath the car. I already got the strap set up, and the jack right here, and the fuel tank right here. All right, so I'm just hooking these straps in, like so. Just right there. All right, that's it. It's in. All I need to do is tighten these guys back up. These are the straps that hold the fuel tank in. I do have the jack holding it up, and I'm gonna tighten these a little bit at a time so they go up evenly. That gets pretty loose in there. Yeah, I can loosen this jack up now. Let this jack down and just tighten these straps back up. And there she is, guys, the new gas tank installed. Now the last thing I need to do is hook up the hose and the electronics to the gauge, and then hook up the fuel line at the front at the fuel filter, and we should be good to go. I got up in there and measured, and it looks like 3 inches should be good. All right, that should be good. I need to connect this to this using this rubber here. All right, so that went on pretty easy. I have these clamps on here, and all I need to do is tighten these clamps up and then reinstall this wiring here, but that's it. So let's go ahead and tighten these clamps back up here. All right, so these guys are nice and tight, and the last thing I need to do is hook this guy back up here, and that should just twist on. There we go. It's all hooked up, ready to go. Now I just need to get the front all dialed in, hooked up, and get some gas in there, and we're good to go. So it's time to get this fuel filter cleaned up. As soon as I unhook this, I'm thinking some fuel is gonna spill out, so I put a little towel down here to catch any fuel. So let's unhook this one right here. I know there's gonna be fuel in there. There it is. I knew all that gas was gonna spill out of there. Alright, now I just need to make sure that this hose is hooked up to the fuel filter and the fuel pump, and then I gotta tighten this guy down. The last part is me getting the fuel into the fuel tank. I already have, what, 4 or 5 gallons of gas in here from this weekend. As soon as this is in, we'll make a run to the gas station and fill her up. Alright, let's test and see if we have any info on the fuel gauge. Look at that, that fuel gauge is moving. Alright, let's see if we can get her to start. Ooh, she cranked! She cranked, baby! Yeah, buddy, she cranked. All right. That a boy. Yeah. Oh, come on, Eleanor, don't do this to me.